with Jeremey Markovich. He does the NC Rabbit Hole newsletter. And I feel like we've been leading up to this conversation, Jeremey. The Raleigh-based band American Aquarium stumbled upon an old NC State set of decals that depicted Mr. Wolf, Tuffy, literally eating the remnants of Ramses, like right down to the bone. And there's another one where he's boiling the devil, which there is some logistical issues with that one. And I believe he's also snapping the knee of the demon deacon as well.
Yes.
So you decided to go down that North Carolina rabbit hole as to the genesis of these pre-licensed days of college stuff.
Yes. So what I found was, you may not be shocked to know this, but if you try to do something like this today, you probably would not be able to pull it off.
No.
College licensing as we know it was really started by UCLA in the 70s, and then Ohio State in 1974 started trademarking their logos. And then in the 80s, most all of the colleges came along with it. Basically, they kind of figured out that they can, that you can make money off of this. And if it's a revenue stream, then why not try to lock it up and kind of, have all your intellectual property taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, it was the Wild West. And so the way that these particular decals that were made, as far as I can tell, was that somebody at the NC State bookstore called a company on the West Coast and was like, "Hey, can you make us a couple of decals of one me just Mr. Wolf just snapping the knee of the demon deacon? Like, can you do that for us?" And they're like, "Yeah, we'll send you some sketches."
Why not? Yeah, sure.
This is not like just an NC State thing too. There's a whole set of Duke stickers where Duke is doing the whole. Basically, he's riding the ram, and then another sticker. The Blue Devil has his trident like embedded in the chest of Mr. Wolf, like a couple inches in. Like it's not one of those like, oh, he's holding him up. He's holding him at bay with the trident. Like, no, he is stabbed.
No, he's stabbed.
He is mortally wounded. And so yeah, like Duke ordered some of these, and this was a thing you could do back in the day. If you wanted to depict your mascot doing something terrible to another mascot, like you could just call somebody up and they would do that, no questions asked.
Yeah, it feels like the Tom and Jerry Roadrunner Coyote
a little bit, yeah.
type.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of shrugged that, thought it was funny. Moving along.
Yeah.
Can't do it now.
No, you talked to.
I mean, you can, right? I mean,
I once.
Other than the licensing problems.
What's funny, and that's the thing. I was scrolling through my phone to see if I can pull it up. I had taken a picture of an old poster that somebody had stumbled upon. It was an NC State schedule poster for basketball, and it was a drunk Mr. Wolf. What looked like he had been drinking PBRs. You could never do that today. For a variety of reasons, but you could never do that today. So you talked to the guys who run Homage, right? Or is it Home Field?
Home Field.
You talked to Home Field. I know there's a couple competing places. Yeah. So Home Field started out as a really small T-shirt maker. They would go to smaller schools, say, "Hey, why don't we go into your archives? We can pull some of these cooler mascot designs from back in the day, put it on a shirt, and people will love it." And they took off. And they finally started knocking out licensing deals with the bigger schools. Most recently, they went through a run of North Carolina and NC State. I think Wake Forest recently had it too. NCA&T had a run with Home Field as well. And I think based on your NC rabbit hole today, people started hitting up Home Field like, can we not get these on shirts? And Home Field did tweet out, "Guys, we hate to break it to you, but we cannot put two mascots fighting on a T-shirt these days. Like, they just can't do it. Nobody's signing off on that."
No. So this is the thing I discovered is that, so if you've seen these, I was in the Wake Forest bookstore earlier this week and I noticed this. They're like Wake Forest, like beat Syracuse, beat UNC, beat Duke, like official pins that you can buy in the bookstore. And when I talked to Connor from Home Field, Connor's like, "Look, in order to get those, you have to, like, the other school has to sign off on it."
Mm-hmm.
So they have to, whatever button company has to call North Carolina. It's like, "Hey, can we put a beat North Carolina text on a Wake Forest button?" And in most cases like that, it's fine. When you have a mascot that is eating the thigh bone of another mascot, Maybe not.
Or what the devil's doing to the deacon. He's got him bent over with the trident. Like, I don't think they're signing off on that.
There's a lot happening in that particular.
There really is.
I mean, there's a lot happening in all of them. So I was able to talk to basically American Aquarium found, I think, the same website that I did, where there's a guy in Seattle who did the same thing that I don't know, I kind of dreamed of doing, which is like when he would go on trips as a kid with his parents, they would go near like a college and they'd stop in the bookstore and buy a bunch of stuff. And so and then he kind of kept that going and has now collected tons of these. So it's not like this is not just a North Carolina thing. I mean, there's I think there's a newly relevant one of the South Carolina Gamecock doing something really terrible to the Clemson Tiger.
Yes.
There's all sorts of them. And this is the fun fact of, if you've ever wondered why they all tend to kind of look the same. In fact, if you've noticed that an old school UNC, the Ramses, like the ram head doesn't look like the old Colorado State ram. It's the exact same one.
Yeah,
it's
exact same thing.
Color. It's the same one as the Fordham ram. It's because basically 90% of all of these old mascots that you could order on stickers came from one company and were drawn by one guy named Arthur Evans, who basically created, like, he was the artist for this company.
Is he the guy who created the strutting mascot?
What's that?
Is he the guy who created the strutting mascot?
I think so, which also looks like Grove City College's wolf. So we would repeat them because back in the day, well, there's no internet. Like, how would you know?
You wouldn't know.
The LSU Tiger looks just like the Auburn Tiger, which looks just like the Occidental College Tiger. They're exactly the same. So you could kind of repeat them back in the day.
No,
so
what I meant is they made it, the strutting became a trademark. You know, they even have the gator strutting. So it's not just the strutting wolf. It's the strutting ram, the strutting gator, the strutting badger. They're all the same. Some of them have a hat, you know. It's a thing.
Which they all have the sailor hat. I guess.
Yes, they all have the sailor hat.
Like the gator. Why?
I don't know. Well,
what are we doing?
He's in the water.
The pirate. Yeah,
he's in the water.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
He looks under the water.
Why is the gator strutting? I've never understood. And the badger. The badger should not be strutting.
Jeremey, Markovich, NC Rabbit Hole. Check out the newsletter. You get fun stuff like this. Hey, man, we appreciate the time. We'll talk to you later.
Thank y'all.